Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel as we discuss the Taurus full moon happening on November 15th, 2024 at 4:27 p.m. That's Eastern time. So be sure and adjust for your location on the planet. We have the Taurus full moon occurring at 24 degrees exact, conjunct Uranus at 25 degrees of Taurus, 17 minutes retrograde. This adds more energy, excitement, impulsivity to the Taurus full moon, where typically the energy is quite stable, pacing itself, strong, secure. Now there's a surprise. Now there's something that opens up because the universe is requiring a change. With this full moon, we of course have the sun at the opposite point here at 24 degrees of Scorpio. And so in this axis in astrology, the Scorpio-Taurus axis, the highlight here is on what you need, what you want, what you value, what is in balance, what is out of balance. And the full moon, of course, being the brightest in the sky this time of year in Taurus, is really showcasing what matters to you that could be surprising, disruptive, a little chaotic. There can be instability here with this particular full moon because Uranus is the stronger influence and it's shaking up what you truly need and want. It's sort of like, don't give me the typical answer. Uranus wants to really get into, but what do you really, really want? And how does that align with what you're building and how you're leading a meaningful life? A life that matters to you, not just based on what others might need from you, expect from you. The Scorpio energy is where we merge with others. It's where we have shared responsibilities, shared space, shared passions. It's where we're aware of other people's influence on us. And so the opposite point of Taurus is bringing you back to your own solid core and asking you to check in on what the frequency is. This is a frequency check here at this 24 degrees of Taurus, and you could surprise yourself or have something in your life surprising happen that reveals more of what really matters to you. Now, this is also the axis of finances, where Taurus is what you make, what you possess, what you invest in, the money you save, the money you take home. And Scorpio is your financial output, where you have bills to pay, where you have shared resources with others. So Scorpio is the bank, the mortgage payment, credit cards, financial institutions, where you're in some kind of financial contract with another entity. And so this is a time of year to check in on that. And there could be surprises, surprising developments. Of course, everyone wants a windfall, wants to win the lottery. But this could be a realization around your output, where money's going, where you would prefer to change any of your financial habits. Taurus is usually more about conserving and saving, being responsible with what you're earning. And so there could be something here that comes through during the Taurus full moon that brings your attention to these matters. Now, also in this full moon, we have another cradle aspect. And I discussed the cradle aspect that occurred the end of October, and beginning of November. Let me show you what we are looking at here. So starting with the full moon, you can see that the moon and Uranus are both trining Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn, 55 minutes, literally the last few days. I mean, us astrologers, we're going to keep hyping this up. The last few days in Capricorn for 200 years. And this is a big deal. And so this is an influence on what you're realizing about changes you want to make. And so that's interesting, right? Because Taurus isn't known for change. Taurus is, don't make me change. And certainly don't make me change fast. Don't put pressure on me. And don't you dare give me an ultimatum. If you want some Taurus resistance, just give them an ultimatum. But this energy is highlighting that at a personal level, the Taurus energy is evolving deeply outside of a comfort zone, conjunct that Uranus, and it's right on time. There's a bigger soul purpose to all of this with the trine there to Pluto. The other supportive development is this sextile the moon and Uranus have to Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces, they're retrograde. This is a softer influence from Neptune, which is supporting the release and what you are completing, what is leaving. There could be more of a peacefulness and acceptance. You could feel that you're connected to the bigger picture of what is changing in your life, what has been changing perhaps within you or around you. And this is the sense of, I can accept this. I can work with this because I understand that it's allowing me to be complete with something that basically I'm moving away from and I'm outgrowing. So with the Sun and Uranus making these beneficial aspects here to both of the outer planets, we also have the Sun in Scorpio making those beneficial aspects too. Sextiling this Pluto, trining this Neptune, and then that also means there is this sextile between Pluto and Neptune, which is ongoing for over a century. And so this is, you're looking at the upside down cradle. It looks like a trapezoid. It's composed of one opposition and has 2 trines and 3 sextiles. So overall, there is harmony here. There are beneficial, bigger picture developments that are affecting you at a very personal nature. That's the moon, is your most personal self. Your most internal self is now sensing what is deeply shifting. And the Sun is in Scorpio, transforming as well, working with the changes. This Sun is moving towards an exact sextile with Pluto, a final hurrah. And so there is a powerful shift in our consciousness, in our sense of empowerment. And I feel that many people are going to sense there's no going back to a previous part of yourself or your life. Like you've been in a process that could have been quite subtle. You know, these energies are in the water and earth signs, which are usually more kind of in the background. You know, they're solid and flowing and doing the work and keeping pace and aware of what is moving. And so there could be a part of you that now syncs up to a frequency shift that the universe has been guiding you to, and you feel like you're awakening to a new part of yourself that is now becoming your reality. And so speaking of reality, on the same day as this Taurus full moon, Saturn stations direct at 12 degrees, 41 minutes of Pisces. This means Saturn is moving slowly. Saturn is getting a grip on where things are at, taking his time at 12 degrees of Pisces, coming to that standstill. That's what the S means. It actually means station, and it's black, meaning direct. And so the Saturn influence is strong. And with Saturn now going to move forward, covering tracks and territory that was previously covered in March and April of this year, Saturn is understanding more of what he's been through. Saturn in Pisces is reflective, listening, receptive, needs to be alone to hear his own wisdom, to hear his own spiritual guidance. Saturn is more of a hermit here. And the Saturn energy is requiring us to slow it down. And this is important to note because not only is Saturn stationing direct during the Taurus full moon, but Saturn is in a T-square and is actually going to be in dialogue with this Mercury here at 16 degrees of Sag. They already had an exact square, but they stay in contact into December. And as we move into December, Saturn starts to square Jupiter again. Their exact square will be towards the end of December. But Saturn is basically keeping tabs on both this Jupiter in Gemini and this Mercury in Sagittarius. And so there needs to be a slowing down of the thought processes that are running away with the show, or big communications, grand announcements, grandiose declarations. There can be a lot that's being said, and here the Saturn is saying, well, let's just sit with this. Let's really observe and consider what stays and what goes, because Saturn in Pisces removes. Also brings about karma, consequences, reveals what needs to be completed. If you've been pushing off something, if it's been delayed, if you've been procrastinating, this Saturn is going to bring it to your attention. And this Mercury in Sagittarius is going to be like, I can't do it now. I've got to go. Catch me later. And this Jupiter is going to be like, I don't want to focus on that. I have a ton of things in front of me. There could be difficulty focusing as we move into the second half of November and into December. The energy can feel more scattered, indecisive, restless. But look at what Saturn is showing you that needs to be taken care of, because that could come up during the Taurus full moon when you need to tend to things in the real world, which is Taurus. Now, Taurus is ruled by Venus. So let's go over here and look at the state of the ruling planet, Venus, at 4 degrees of Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn is cautious, an observer. She moves slowly to determine if there's something she really wants or if it's just going to waste her time, waste her energy, which she doesn't want to do. She is pragmatic. She has integrity. She's self-respecting. And she's also squaring this north node at 5 degrees of Aries. And so she's feeling this sense of she needs to get things done and move ahead. And she could be feeling like time is ticking. What do I need to get done quickly, Aries? But she doesn't want to be rushed. And she's also receiving pressure from this Mars at 3 degrees of Leo. And this is a quincunx. And here is Mars in Leo that wants to get going. Let's move it along, pick up the pace. I'll take control. And she says, no, I've got this. I can handle it. I'll do it my way. There is a tug of war here, very different intentions between Capricorn, which will take its time, and Leo, which wants to have fun and perhaps get a little wild. And she is in a button-up suit and doesn't have time for the nonsense. So she's feeling pressure from fire energy, but she doesn't want to be rushed. So I'm speaking about this in terms of an archetype where there could be something in your life that you're like, I need more time. I don't want to be rushed. I need time for this. But you're feeling that things are shifting, new starts are happening, you don't want to miss the boat, and you also are getting a sense of, but maybe others are moving faster than me. And so this Venus in Capricorn is on her own in figuring out what she wants for the long term, what she's going to commit to, how she's going to get there. And that could be something too that you're sensing, especially because here it is, the middle of November, the end of the year is approaching. You could be looking at the calendar, getting a reality check on things you need to get done or want to complete by year end, feeling like, oh, I wish this would go faster, but it's not. There's other things I want to get started on, but I can't yet. So we're getting some real world checking in points here. And this is where you could surprise yourself with that change of priorities, the shift in what matters to you. And maybe even a new awareness around, what you can practically take care of before the year's end. And I'm saying year's end simply because not only is Venus in Capricorn associated with timing, but Capricorn is also the energy that ends and begins every calendar year. And one other aspect I want to bring your attention to in this chart is the ongoing sextile between Jupiter at 19 degrees of Gemini retrograde, sextiling Chiron at 19 degrees of Aries. And the sextile has been in place since September. So these two areas of your chart, the Gemini and Aries energies, are actually working together to solve a problem. Give you some ideas, solutions, possibilities, some new remedies, some new approaches to try. And the exact energy means that they are traveling together. So there is a syncing up here between these two parts of your chart. And you might feel like Jupiter is delivering. Jupiter's bringing in information, communications, ideas, projects that are helping this Chiron in Aries be more courageous, stand on your own, be independent, get some things done, making your own decisions. I don't mean that to sound condescending. Sounds like I'm talking to a 7-year-old. You can make your own decisions now. No, what I mean is that it's sort of like there's an internal process here that's strengthening and supporting what this Chiron is doing on its own terms. So a lot is going on in this Taurus full moon. And when I look at this moon conjunct Uranus, it's a very personal, energy, where again, you could feel like you're opening up to something, you're awakening to something. There's a frequency shift that's being required. And with a full moon, you can't miss it because the moon is at capacity. The moon is at its fullness, holding a fullness of energy, of emotion, of self-awareness. So I hope that that is helpful in understanding what the full moon is bringing to light for you. You want to look at where you have 24 degrees of Taurus in your chart, whichever house it's in. And I do have a video for you here on YouTube called How to Find a Degree Point in Your Chart, which you can go check out. It's a tutorial video and I show you how to identify it in your own chart. So as always, thank you for joining me for a look at this astrology chart. I'll be back soon with another video. And thank you again for those who share, like, comment, and subscribe. I so appreciate it. I'll see you back here soon.